Very nice. Enjoy the nachas.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm late.
Kaplan, you know Mr. Kaplan? Yeah, who lives in your body? Yeah, that's him.
Okay, sorry. So, okay, a couple minutes of Musar here. It's a short daf, even though it's probably the most lumdish daf in Shas. Had to say that for Gershon. It's still,
So
you stay away from.
Let Gershon come on with you March up.
Okay, whatever it is, but yeah, but I didn't say it's the most important. I just said it's the most lumdish. Didn't say it's the most important, right? I mean, I guess it's the most important.
All right, it's a competition. Important versus, yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, saying alum the supply is important. That's my mechorim pass. About this important. You don't need to say.
To me, Pashtus is more important than Lamdas.
Okay, so let's see. Ve'ena shchina, I think that's what we're up to. Ve'ena shchina shoyre elam yitach simcha. Shchina is only dwells because of with simcha. Right, and the Nevi'im were not able to say Nevi'is whenever they wanted. When they were sitting with Yishuv Adas, then they were able to say the Nevi'is. Right? Yeah. Right. So meaning, yeah, you can't have any sort of, basically part of the avodah. That's what he's been saying the last few days. It's basically part of the avodah is part of being Oived Hashem is to do it b'simcha. That's what it is, right? Nevi'us only comes from simcha. They always asked for musical instruments, and that's when they asked for nevuah. When the menagin was menagin, then it was on him Yad Hashem. Peres haneshama. So what is that? That it's going to be glorified that it's b'simcha. The tavik ziv yiraseh lahavik yikar hoida. This is already heavy duty stuff, and there's going to be this the ziv of the Yerasa is going to go out. I don't know what this means. Okay, I don't know what this means. Fits to today's daf. I don't know. Right? But the days that he must remember Magagelas the Das Kedushas Yaitza, Medavegas Lamunal Baris Barach, Ozim is Pashat, the Chidusha Gil, the Chidush Gil, and Misracheves Besimchasa. Anyways, I don't know, but I just have to finish it because I was stuck in the middle. So, Ba'isa Shom is Kadeshas Kedushas Kodesh HaKedosh HaKoidshim, Baz Misav and Noisas Chain Lefnei Melech Malchi Amlachim, Ba'isa he Misyakru, Misyafis, Mishaderes, Behadoras Goin, Ois Toigav Adarasi. Right? So okay, that's, I don't know what that means, but I mean, from what I understand, it means that the neshamas get very happy when you're happy with your avodas Hashem. The neshamas get very happy. Yeah. Okay, Dave. I'm sorry.
It's a perfect fit for today's daf. Very tough concepts in a short, easy package. This is one of the hardest avodas is to turn everything to simcha.
Correct, but here it's taking it to a different level.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what it is, right? Taking it to, I'm saying I don't know exactly what this is.
Isn't there a Gemara? The Gemara says, "Ezehi avoda shetzricha avoda." Zeshira.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, okay, so let's see. Yeah, so now test number Aleph. Good Shabbos Dave. Amar Rebbe Lazar, those are the last three words on Ches Amud Beis. So this is the famous sugi of Pesach Pesuach. Right now, of course, in the way the Derech Hashem is. So I had said that all this business with besulim nowadays is not really so negeya. They don't bleed so much. A guy that just got married in the last few days, there was so much dam, it got through every sheet in the hotel, and he wants to know whether he has to pay the hotel. And I said, and here it is, I have to open my big mouth, and it doesn't go down like that anymore. Well, I got a little humble pie, and that happened. Okay, whatever, you can't make it up. But yeah. So anyways.
Did we have that Gemara yet? The Gemara says the more dam, the more likely children.
We're gonna have that today. That's today's today. Not. It's today. Oh no, it's in 2 days, 3 days.
Tomorrow? Yeah.
One of these coming up. Yeah.
So obviously only talking about case of not a begaris, correct? Where she still has.
No, here's just this collar was obviously a begaris.
I'm saying once she's a begaris, she still has the dinam of a besula.
No, there's no.
So we're not talking about a begaris here.
Here we're talking about a naira. There's only up to
only a
naira. Only till 12 and a half. Yeah, there's only till 12 and a half. Anyways, okay, so let's see. So I'm on top of Amud Aleph. I'm Pesach Pesuach Matzasi. So if he says that he found the Pesach Pesuach, meaning he had no, what do you call it? He had no nothing holding him back, meaning the intercourse was easy. So he says it's Pesach Pesuach. She must have been mezana. So Neman Lo Yisrael, he's Neman to say that she is assur to him, and the assumption is that she was mezana after they got engaged, and therefore she is assur to him. However, Rashi points out that according to this shita, he's not Neman to make her lose the kesuba, because that's already meaning here. It's what we call chaticha. What's it called? Not chaticha. He made a what's it called? That lip mixed up already. He made himself a chaticha de isura, right? By him saying that she's assur to him, so that's it. So she's assur to him. However, mitzad her, she's perfectly mutter. So out the mominist, he still owes her money, right? Until she proves it. Till he proves that she was taka mezana, right? So never lo Yisrael. So I'm going to ask Bamai, and this is where you start getting into the heavy duty iyon sfeika. It's a double safek tachtov, safek ain't tachtov. Meaning let's say she was mezana, but we don't know when that happened. Maybe it was before they got engaged, right? Then she's not assur to him. Safek tachtov, safek ain't tachtov. Him to learn the tachtov, safek b'ayna, safek b'ratzon. Maybe she was raped. And if she was raped, she's still mutter to live with him. So it's a sfeika. So there's all sorts of sugyas of what kind of sfeika is this. It's really the same safek or it's not the same safek. Whatever. There's a lot of rate on this, right? And also why are we makel in a case of sfeika?
Why do we care if it's shavi and after chaticha d'isur? Why do we care whether he's neman or not neman? He's not assur her to anything. What's he being neman? That he's able to make himself assur? Who cares?
Right. No, that's what we're saying. So no, but he can back out of the marriage.
He can back out of the marriage either way.
I don't know if that's. I mean, I guess.
Shavi and after is just inside yourself. There's no halachic ramifications inside anyone else. Meaning it's not a real neman.
No, it's only a ramification for himself.
Right, so who cares what the sfeika is? Sfeika is going up against something that he's asking to himself. He's not believed that what? I'm saying sfeika is going to do what?
Yeah, it's going to assur her, meaning she's assur. Even if she says, I want to be with him and all that, and he no longer has a choice, right? He doesn't have a choice now. She can't be married to him anymore. Now that he said this, he's out.
Right? It's a question of whatever. It's a question of how. What is he saying at this point?
Yes, right.
Is he saying assur or not?
Correct. Now, if he changes his mind, I'm assuming he's not going to be believed. That's it, right?
Right.
So that's shot. Fine. So loitricha be'eshes kohen. So we say no. We're talking about an eshes kohen, which means that it's only one safek because an eshes kohen, if she's raped, she stays also. She's also to her husband. Same with be'eshes Yisrael. Or it's talking about where she's a Yisrael. We're going to kibbutz babu kedushin pchusim mibas gimel shana v'yamechad, where her the father. I'm saying possible the father was makabel kedushin, right? We learned already that the father can be makabel kedushin for his daughter less than 3 years old. We know that even if she was mizana or raped or whichever one it is, the besula are going to come back, right? So therefore, it must be that she was mizana afterwards. So it's a vadai. Okay, fine. So that's the case. So my kamashmalon, my kamashmalon, what's the chiddush? Tanina, we learned this. A guy goes over to a woman and says, "I married you." No, you didn't. You didn't marry me. He mutaris b'kroivav. She's mutter to his relatives, but who also b'kroivasa, and he's also to her relatives. Right? This is your classic pagina debure. Right? Well, I'm saying it's a form of it, meaning you're believing him, you're not believing her, or believing her, whatever each person says is what goes. It's not really pagina. I'm sorry. Right? So she says, I'm not married, so she's mutter to marry his relatives. Now again, this is all assuming it's his word against her word. Once you start bringing Adim, then that changes everything, right? So the Gemara, so whatever it is, you see that there's another case, a previous case where we learned that it's a he said, she said, and it goes with whatever they said. Yeah.
He says pesach psuah. He says assur, or he just says pesach psuah.
He says pesach psuah.
And just everything else flows automatically. He doesn't say anything else. He tells his father the next day, Taj pesach psuah. He tells his Rebbe, whatever it is, his best friend. So then what happens?
Then he's dead. She becomes assur.
Just by him saying that?
Yes. Now, I don't know if he has to do this in Bezdin. Right? I don't know if he has to do this in Bastam. He has to do it in Bezdin.
Well, if he did it in Bezdin, that means he wants to accomplish something. If he just told his brother, he wants to accomplish anything. He's just telling him what Matthias that he found.
Okay, but then they have to tell him, by the way, because you said that you're assur. I think so.
Okay. Fine.
I'm assuming that that's what happens. If he says pesach, okay, by the way, you opened your mouth. The question is, do they say, okay, you sure you want to admit this in evidence, or you want to just waffle on this? Right. So I don't know how that works. Like, at what point does it? At what point is his word his word? Okay. Either way, so the Gemara answers. So we have the kasha. So we have two cases. So why do you need two cases? The Gemara says, "Mal the same hasam devade kimle avalacha mekem hu delay kimle." Meaning there, he says, "I know that I married her." Right? She's denying it, but he says, "I know it." So we do believe that he has some form of knowledge of this. Avalacha mekem hu delay kimle. Maybe here we say this 20-year-old guy says he slept with a woman and it was pesach pasuach. What does he know? Right? What does he know from any of this? So maybe he himself is the safek, so you shouldn't believe him. Right? So that's so therefore the chiddush is, yes, we still believe him, even though he's not so knowledgeable. So Gemara asks, did Rabbi Elazar really say that we believe him? Right? Right, a woman can only become assur on her husband if she does it with kinoi and stira. Kinoi and stira means he gets jealous of her, and stira, and she stays hidden with her, right? And not her. She stays hidden with somebody else. And like the maisa that happened by Dovid and Bathsheba, right? Now the story about Dovid and Bathsheba was Uriah went out to war. Dovid saw Bathsheba doing laundry. He liked her. And then he went and slept with her. So which we're going to get to that in a minute. But either way, but Rabbi Elazar says the only way to make a woman assur to her husband is by doing any of these things. And him just saying pesach pasuch is not one of them. Right? So how can it be? So the one answer, "V'tizbara ma'aseh shahai b'kina b'stira hava." That ma'aser shoyis. Well, basically, what you say that the way to make a woman assur to her husband is by doing either kinoi v'stira or the ma'aser shoyis. The ma'aser shoyis wasn't kinoi v'stira. It wasn't like Uriah said to Bathsheba, stop hanging out with Dovid, right? That didn't happen. And did we say that Bathsheba was also to her husband? Bathsheba eventually married Dovid. So how could it be if she was also to her husband, she'd be also to Dovid too? Because we know that if a man is mizana with a woman, he becomes also to the woman, and the husband becomes also to the woman. And since Dovid married her, so must be that there was no ma'aser nus there. So this whole braysa needs to be explained. When it says holy kasha, that's not a kasha, right? This is what it means to say. A woman is not also to her husband only on the iske kina v'stira. And you know it from the ma'aser shahaya because there was no kina v'stira, there was no jealousy there, and the mela they're not assur. So mamash changes the whole braysa. In the beginning, we thought the braysa was saying kino stira and ma'aser shahaya. Now we're saying no. You only become assur with kino stira. Why? Because the ma'aser shahaya that happened with Dovid and Bathsheba, there was no kino stira, and she's not assur. She was not assur to Dovid. So when I asked me, "Komakam kasha kino stira in pesach pesuach loy," you still have a kasha. It still says only kino and stira, not pesach pesuach. So how can Rebbe Elazar here say that a man can make his wife assur to him by just saying pesach pesuach? So Gemara answers with the tameh kina v'stira in edim loy. It says the only way to become an assur is kina v'stira. What happens if edim come and say a woman is mizana? You're not gonna assur her to the husband. Ella hachi kamar ein isha naseres al ba'ila be'ed echad ella b'shnei edim. A woman is not assur on her husband with eid echad, only with two edim. The kina v'stira. But if there's kina and stira, where the husband is jealous, and then she's found to be hidden with another man, even with one aid, that's enough to make her assur. Pesach pesuach kishnei edim dami, and Pesach pesuach is like shnei edim, and therefore, meaning if the husband says he found her open, then maybe that's like shnei edim, and therefore they don't stay married. So Taka, why was the ma'aser sheva in Dovid and Bathsheba? Why wasn't she assur? So Hasam Aynesu, no, there he was ma'anis her. Dovid was ma'anis her. It was not consensual. So since Dovid was ma'anis her, so therefore she was not assur on her husband, and this is the bigger chiddush. And she could now marry Dovid. Right? You hear this? Meaning normally a woman is mizana. She's not allowed to go back to her husband, and she can't go to the person she was mizana with. So you'd think. So when she's raped, she didn't do anything wrong, so she can go back to her husband. But you'd think that the guy that raped her shouldn't be able to marry her. But no, from this Gemara it's very clear, and that there are Rishonim that disagree. But for the pashtus from this Gemara is that the raper can still marry her. So it comes out if a man is going to be in a zana with a woman, and he hopes eventually that she divorces, he should be ma'anis her, and he'll be in much better shape. He'll be able to marry her. Right? I'm not giving anybody any ideas. I'm just saying that that's what comes out.
This is number 43 in the 100 things we don't understand about Dovid and Melech.
Yeah, listen. Yes, 100%. This is a shver story. There's no two ways about it. This is a shver story.
What did the Rishonim do with the Gemaras that say Dovid and Melech? Didn't we do these Gemaras? The Gemaras that say Dovid and Melech or Uriah gave her a get. That whole shallow about giving.
Oh, so that's the next teretz. Very good. That's the next teretz.
I'm saying, but according to Rebbe Elazar, according to this shita right now, Dovid and Melech, she was mizana. I'm not mizana, but Dovid and Melech did it while she was married, according to the teretz.
No, it's what do you mean?
According to this teretz, the only reason why she's mutter because it was done by Inus, but she clearly was married to Uriah at this time.
She was, yeah. Well, you mean yes? It is. I think it's two different.
So it's two different shitas.
I think so. As far as is any other way to understand it?
I don't know.
Another interesting part of this daf in the saga that's called My Life here is a guy comes over to me this morning. He says, I don't understand why in this bungalow colony was so frum that the women and men don't say good morning to each other. He says, as from a place, he says it's not right. He says, I'm learning sfeika, and I'm learning about kinu b'stira. Miriam, kinu.
That was just the kinoi and then freeze.
It's a good face to freeze on. Oh, I thought it was just me. I was like, I'm missing the good stuff.
No. It was just the
Let me
kinoi.
text him. Let me text him.
We're all missing it.
I was wondering how it could be that I'm going to lose internet even in the city in the summer. One is there's so many kids flying around here for the Sheva bracha. Somebody must have yanked out the Wi-Fi router. Either way, so this guy tells me the Rashi says that kinu v'stira means that she's talking to men too much. She's talking only to men too much. That's what kinu is. Mashma, he says me mashma. That stam to talk to men not too much is allowed. So why is everybody in our community not saying good morning to each other? Okay, punkt today. Yeah, I said, this today's daf. He said he had no idea. Anyways, but it was just an interesting thing. So, but okay. So either way, that's the first teretz of how it worked with Dovid. The Dovid raped her. Iba is saying, Ki hada amar Reb Shmuel bar Nachmani amar Reb Yonasan, just like Akiva said on Amud Beis now. Kol ha'yotzil l'mechemes beis Dovid. Anybody who went out to mechemes beis Dovid, meaning all soldiers, get krisus kosev le'ishtay. They wrote a get to their wives. Meaning, in the list of all the papers they had to sign before enlisting, one of them was a get. By the way, you're divorcing your wife. Tichsiv v'esachicha v'esachecha tifkoid l'sholem v'esarubasam tikach. Right, and you keep looking out for your brother, and you take their aruva, right? Which means you take how do you touch that? Their meaning to make sure that they're okay. Yeah. So now there's a whole issue here. Machlokes Rashi Tosis. Sorry for the background noise. Right, but so Rashi says that if they die in the Milchama, it's going to be a get from the Shas Ksiva, sort of like we learned at the end of Yevamos, right? That you're doing a get lemafreya, right? And then Tosis says, then it's got to be only if it's got to work for somebody who doesn't have kids, because there's no yibum. Meaning, what else is the nafkamina? Okay, whatever. That's the long Tosis. Anyway, so my vows ves arubasam tikach. What does that mean? Ves arubasam tikach. I'm not sure how to type the word literally, right? Tani Rabbi Yosef, Dvarim
Taruvas.
That's me. Yeah, that's what it means. Yeah, that's what the Gemara says. Dvarim hamuravim beina leveina. I'm saying I don't know what any literal way to type.
They're mixture.
Yeah, they're typing it that it means. Yeah, that's the explanation of the word. Okay, whichever. Meaning, okay, whichever it is. Dvarim hamuravim beina leveina. So Rashi says that means kedushin, right? So basically, what that they mix things between the spouses, right? So that was the din, yeah. Meaning anybody who went out to war, so they wouldn't have the aguna issue. Fine. Amar Abaya, afana nami tanina besula nisis liyamar avi. Right, we learned that a besula gets married on a Wednesday night. During Wednesday day, liyam ravi in liyam chamishi loy. She only gets married on a Wednesday, not Thursday. My time. What's the reason? Because we're afraid that if they're going to get married after Thursday, by the time Bezdin sits again on Monday, his das is going to cool off, and he's not going to go to Bezdin. Ulamai. So now, why is he going to Bezdin? Or not? No, sorry. What were they worried about his das cooling off? Kesuba. If it's because we want to make sure he has to give her the kesuba, right? Nesavla. So he should give the kesuba. Means he'll give the kesuba. Meaning, why not? Yeah, meaning it has nothing to do with if he wants, meaning if we're afraid that his das is going to cool off and therefore he's going to end up having to give her the kesuba, so give it, like, let her. What's the big deal if he has to give her the kesuba? Love. What it means is that she is really assur to him, but he might cool off and he might not make her assur. With the kohen tainas mai, and what taina is he coming to Bezdin with? Lav the kohen tainas pesa pasua. Isn't it that he's going to come to Bezdin, right? To say that his wife was open and therefore she was not a besula and she must have been mezana, right? But if he does this and this happens on Thursday afternoon or Thursday night, and he has to wait until Monday, he's gonna say to himself, what I need this headache for, or I really do like her, so I'm not gonna say anything, even though be'etzem she really is assur to him. So you see that a man is believed for a tayin tainas pesach besua. When it answers light, the katayin tainas damim. No, he says he saw blood, not that he says pesach besua. He did not see blood. Right, so he did not see blood. So since he didn't see blood, then that's for sure a taina. Meaning, there's a difference between him saying that he didn't see blood and pesach basur. Pesach basur is a judgment call. Nobody can prove or disprove him, right? Because once law, you're going to say, why don't we do an internal exam? It's too late. Maybe he opened her, right? So there's no way to know the truth here. But by damim, well, as we'll see in the next couple of blocks, by damim, there were ways. You check the sheets. You can see all these type of things. Fine. So then it's okay. So then Amar Rav Yehuda Shmuel, he disagrees with our previous shita. Our previous shita was that he's believed that she can't stay married to him, but he's not believed on the kesuba. Right? Rav Yehuda Shmuel says, so not only is he believed to make her assur to him, he's also believed that she doesn't get the kesuba. Right? So Amar Rav Yehuda said, my kamashmalan, what's the chiddush that Shmuel holds this? Tanina, we already learned it. If somebody ate by his in-laws in Yehuda, shaloi be'edim, without edim, meaning when he was engaged, he went to Yehuda and he ate by his in-laws. He is no longer allowed to tie the tainas besulim after the nisuin, after the marriage. Why? Because in Yehuda, we had this a couple of times. In Yehuda, the minhag was they were afraid the chas and kal not going to know each other. So therefore, they were meyachid them together so that they get to know each other. But then we're afraid that they're going to be mezana. Right? But Yehuda, who the loy matzi tayin, it's only in Yehuda. Habit Galil. But if in Galil, well, they didn't do this matzi tayin, he's able to say that my wife was not a besula. Ulamai. What was he believed for? Ila Israel, if it's to make her assur on him, Yehuda my loy. Why can't he say it in Yehuda? Right? I mean, he could have said, I was not mezana with her. I did not sleep with her before we got married, and she was pesach pasua. Elolav, so he should be believed. Elolav lafsi the kesuba. So it must be that he's believed to make her lose the kesuba. Or the katan tying or what? And he was tying that she's not a besula. How? My love, the katan tying us pesach pasua. Isn't it talking about where he said that he found her open? So Gemara says the same teretz. Loy, the katan tying is damim. He says no, that he didn't see blood. So since he didn't see blood, therefore he's believed on that because that can sort of be proven. Yeah. Okay. So quite interesting that it could be a really short daf. When in the yeshivas, I think they probably spent 2-3 months on this daf, right? Or a good month or two. But okay, whatever it is, that's the main aside from the daf is the machlokes, whether he's believed on himself that just to assur her on himself, which according to everybody he could make her assur to him based just on what him saying it. He made her a chaticha d'isura to him, but he's the machlokes whether he's believed enough to make her lose her kesuba. All right, have a good Shabbos, everybody, and enjoy.
Oh yeah, have a good Shabbos.
Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a shtickle raya from the second to last Rashi on Amud base that people should make expensive chasnas?
Why?
Rashi says, Mashma, the giving a get would be cheaper than making a chasna.
One second. Were we gonna? Well, didn't they do this anyways?
Do what?
Isn't it gonna be tomorrow's daf that he's not gonna lie?
That's the first part. That's but without Simon Betchila.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be Terech Besudasai.
Right.
But then Rashi says, if he hated her guts, he would be Megarisher and not Tarek Besudus Nisuin. Well, if they made Takana weddings, it's a lot cheaper to get married.
I hear you.
Although ultimately it's probably not.
What's
I hear.
the svar at the end of the Gemara Legabe, the din of Shmuel? Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, that he can make such a time to be master kesuba. Is it because at the end of the day it's a bari on the it's because he's mosik in the money?
Oh, so somebody discusses that, no?
Meaning, on that side, Imamish is coming with, is it a bari? His finish is that it's a bari? A bari mitzad mammon?
Yeah, I think it comes up in tomorrow's daf.
Well, bari v'shema?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Or is that or one of the Mefarshim here bring it about Bari V'Shema? I'm not remembering now.
It seems like Rashi
well, they
seems
bring
to
it in
make
Amud
it's like almost like an Anan Sadi. Ilav the Kushtahu.
Yeah, I didn't want to get into the Anan Sadi because then we
But
would
that's what
start talking
Rashi
about
seems to
Chol
be saying.
Yisrael,
It's much
and I didn't want
stronger
to go
than
with that.
Stama Bari. No? It's
Could be.
Mashra, it's stronger than Stama Bari because a Bari Stam that he can win with just a Bari is, even if he's a Mulzik, still doesn't make sense.
Right.
Because he's married to her.
Right. I hear. I don't know.
I think they are Freidem Handler and Amud Aleph by Kimle. Gemara used the lashon of Kimle, if that's the same as Bari or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm saying even if it's Bari, make it tasty for him to win on the moment.
Right.
Rashi seems to say it's much stronger than just Stam Kimle or even Bari.
I mean, I don't understand here anyway. How does she lose the kesuba? I mean, how does she not lose the kesuba, essentially?
Because he's
Don't we say I wait to make a very raya?
Right. I'm not sure about that. It could be because of the fact that they got married.
Okay, I gotta hang up because I gotta take this call.
He's not such a mulzik. You need Aiden to destroy
Happy
that.
Shabbos.
Hello.
I'm not sure. I hear you. I'm not sure. I think once they get married, it gets out of. It's not that it's out of his rishus, but he has to prove that the marriage is not a good marriage at that point. And it may
there is such a part.
I don't know.
Once
That's
they're
what I
married.
assume. Otherwise, why are we getting like you said? Why? Who cares about?
It's already b'shubot. It's already b'shubot to her once he's married.
Right. It's like almost not out of his rishus, but it's in a different domain. It's not needing Aiden.
Right. So now it's like in a middle ground. So therefore, he doesn't have to bring a raya with Aiden. She doesn't have to bring a raya with Aiden.
Right.
We'll just rely on din.
Or these kushta or all this other stuff. Right.
Yeah. Whichever svaras we have, we'll rely on those. Yeah.
Right. It's not as clear as just needing Aiden.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I assume. I don't know. This is mamish touching on almost nothing in this again.
Yeah.
Have a good
You
job.
learned tools before?
Yeah, I learned this in 10th grade, I think.
Holy cow, gets younger.
Yeah.
Why the heck are they still on record? Okay, whatever.
Anyways.
Yeah, have a great job. It was good to see you.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Go to back.